Yes, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the final session of the final day of the World Para-Alpine Skiing Championships here in Slalom in Italy. The final preparations for the course are just taking place behind me for the slalom section of the Super Combined. Our final gold medal of the competition will be issued to all of our categories here this afternoon. We did issue some, however, this morning in the Super G. Let's take a little look back at how those medals were won.
Oh, it's amazing to get a gold medal. It's just topped off our World Championships and yeah, we had really good fun in our race run, so what more can we ask for? About it. Yeah, today it's my 10th world title, so I'm so happy, and I was not sure if the downhill will take place or not because of the snow and all these things. So I'm so happy it took place, and I have my gold medal now, and yeah, so I'm happy.
For me, the run was okay. It was maybe better on the training run this morning, but at the end I am on the first place for the moment, so it's good.
Some fantastic skis then this morning, gold medals going to 6 athletes, and don't forget they've got the chance to double up if their slalom is the quickest as well as part of the Super Combined. Day 2 of competition here in Italy. The slopes have been somewhat kind, somewhat unkind too, as the weather has been difficult this week, but everyone has just been so excited to get out there on the course after a fantastic first half of the World Championships and the technical events in Kranjska, Gora. On the final day of the final session, let's take a little look back at how the first half's medals were won. These Slovenian slopes have given us a little bit of everything over the course of the opening 4 days of the competition, from sunshine to snow to slips and slides, but most of all, some super skiing. In the standing categories, it was a case of Vive la France, as first magnificent Marie Bochet won 2 gold medals by a distance, imperious as ever. In the men's category though, for Arthur Bochet, well, in his own words, it was
just magic.
And it was a case of déjà vu for the Frenchman on day number 3, as once again, he was magic.
I did it again!
Bochet had spoken spoken of a determination to improve upon his Paralympics performance in Pyeongchang. Another skier looking to do the same was the Netherlands' Jeroen Kampschroer. The Flying Dutchman, who was triple world champion in 2017, has roared back in Kranjska Gora this week after what he described as a sore Paralympic Games last year. The sit skiing category has been put on notice. He's back. As we look back at Kranjska Gora, we reflect on so many world-class performances. In the men's VI, Marek Backa of Slovakia was unstoppable on day one, taking gold in the giant slalom, while Italian Giacomo Bertagnoli will arrive in his home country this week, already a world champion in the slalom event. As for the women's VI, Slovakia's Henrietta Farkasova did the double, but was pushed all the way by Australia's Mel Perrine. In the women's sitting, Japan's Momoka Muraoka took gold on day number one, as the Paralympic champion forced the two German skiers Schaffelhuber and Forster into second and third. They both came back hard in a dramatic slalom race, however, with both surviving massive scares in the final throws to even make it to the podium, and it was Annalena Forster who grabbed gold in the end. 4 days of fabulous action in Kranjska Gora. What does Selena Vea have in store for us? It's time to find out. And already some of the questions from that video have been answered. The likes of Giacomo Bertagnoli doing it on home snow have been absolutely fantastic. We are almost ready to go then with our final racing of the championships, and it's coming up for you very, very shortly. Just before we hand over to our commentator though, Alan March, just time to remind you to get in touch with us on social media. We are at Alpine on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Use the hashtag Alpine and access those channels for more exclusive content and more behind the scenes stuff. All right then, it's time to do it. For the final time these championships, let's hand over to our commentator, Alan March.
Thank you very much to Stephen Jameson. Yes, we're here inside the commentary box, and for the first time and only time in this World Championships, I've managed to convince an athlete of the calibre of Mitch Gawley to come along and join me. Good afternoon, Mitch.
Good afternoon, Alan. It's good to be here.
Great stuff. I'm not sure you'd rather be out there, but we'll discuss that in a moment. Hashtag Alpine. These kids here, you can get your mobile phone out or your tablet and device and send us messages. Hashtag Alpine is what you need. We're here in Selena Vea. The World Championships, of course, split over 2 different destinations. It's warmed up a little today as compared to what it was yesterday. Still in the minuses, as to be expected. Wind direction, not much of a wind out there at all, certainly not at the bottom part of the course. We are into the slalom then, just 580 metres more of this World Championship remains. 48 more gates for the athletes to manoeuvre their way through and hopefully pick up one last medal. We'll start, as always, with the women's VI competition. Opportunity for all 3 of these to take a medal. Kelly Gallagher will start after picking up a medal yesterday. Melissa Perrine and Menna Fitzpatrick. And don't forget, we've already had the Super G run, part of the Super Combined. And they are the medals that everybody wants when they get to the start gate. Not everybody can win one. Somebody who knows what it's like to win a world gold is alongside me. Mitch, talk to me about the elation that goes through you as you cross that line.
Yeah, certainly. It's always a pleasure to be at a World Championships, and to have the opportunity to go into the lead with a green light is always a magic opportunity, and then you just got to pray that it's good enough and holds on.
The nerves at the bottom, we'll go through those throughout the next couple of hours. Thanks very much for joining us wherever you are watching in the world. Maybe you're down in Australia, back home for Mitch. I'm sure there are plenty of people there. You may be from Great Britain watching as Kelly Gallagher and Gary Smith get ready to try and do a 1-2. You have to stay on the course to win the medal. That's the first obstacle, of course. The second is how quick you do it. Here, if you want a bronze, you've just got to finish. If either of those around you don't in the women's VI, you will be moved up a position. So it's as simple as that. Plenty of people down watching on, taking on refreshments, we'll say, shall we? These two know very much what it's like to compete together. 33-year-old Kelly Gallagher, long-time guide Gary Smith. And again, we'll talk about history. Gallagher, the first Brit to win a para gold when doing so in Sochi back in 2014. Here she takes to the course with Gary, and again, for those that aren't used to VI skiing, both guide and skier can communicate with each other through the Bluetooth headset and microphone combination that they have in their helmets. The guide chooses the path down. The skier has to follow 3 levels of vision impairments within the VI classification, B1 to B3. Those in the B3 section have the highest visual acuity. Those in the B1, Marek Kabachka, for instance, would use a speaker on the back of their guide and follow the audio from that as well as the instructions. So this is Gallagher and Smith. Now you're up to speed with how it works, and through the line comes Gallagher, 2:07.43. You got to get there.
Yeah, reasonably solid run from those two, and we'll see how it holds up.
Next up then, a lady that will have already been frustrated in these World Championships not to have a gold packed in the bag. This is a huge opportunity to do so. Starts behind Menna Fitzpatrick. Can Melissa Perrine with guide Bobby Kelly find a way down? Bobby and Melissa, quite a jovial pairing. Bobby describing herself to me as the self-proclaimed legend of guiding in the very first conversation I ever had with her. That is one way of introducing yourself. Another would be to collect another World Championship medal. These two aren't doing badly, and they're well inside Gallagher, so the silver is within reach at least. A mistake from Fitzpatrick or a slow run from Fitzpatrick and Keogh might open the door, but here these two have just got to keep going, keep finding the speed where they can, and get that quick time. Towards the finish they come. 2:02.19. Well inside Gallagher. Is it good enough for gold?
Of course, provisionally first place. Anyway, not waiting for Menna Fitzpatrick, winner of yesterday's downhill.
Winner yesterday. Winner of the Super G already, by virtue of the Super G in the Super Combined counting as a medal contest as well. Well within the rules, it just needed everyone to be happy with it. Menna Fitzpatrick is benefiting. Henrietta Farkasova's injury yesterday in the first part of her run, meaning that the opportunity to be a world champion increased, and these two have increased their lead. 1:10 inside as it stands. You see them fighting the course as they come down. It slows in various parts, much more obviously if you're used to watching the downhill of the Super G from yesterday and this morning. You can see the noticeable change in speed these athletes have to cope with. Oh, this could be interesting. 1.65. Melissa Perrine. And there's a very smiley Australian next to me already, but Melissa Perrine, 2:02.19, will be confirmed as a world champion here. I think Fitzpatrick has hurt her arm. Well, that's a great start to the day.
Yeah, it's a great result for us as a team, and I think, you know, Mel proved she was skiing really good slalom by taking the lead over Henrietta down in Kranjska the other week, and has backed up a good Super G run with a really solid slalom run and moved into the lead.
Well, you can see on the standings in front of you now then, Kelly Gallagher will take the bronze. The battle really was between Fitzpatrick and Perrine, and Fitzpatrick has dropped time from that Super G. This second run here in the slalom is where Melissa Perrine has done the damage and is world champion here with a brand new guide. Well done to the pair of them. I'm sure they are ecstatic. How hard have these guys worked over the course of this week? They've been doing anything and everything they can, haven't they?
Yeah, all the coaches and the course crew have done a great job. You know, we got a lot of snow earlier in the week, and the entire organisation has been working really, really hard just to get these races off. So great to see coaches out there still raking and shoveling and pushing hard to make it the best possible surface they can.
Yeah, it's not like people have just kind of been resting, oh yeah, we've got it started, let's leave it. It's pretty much every racer down, somebody's doing something to get us up and racing again. We're hoping to try and bring you some words with Melissa Perrine. In fact, we have got her, so we're going to head down to the start end. Stephen Jameson is with your new world champion.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alan. Joined by our winners, Mel, Bobby, a huge congratulations. Hey, better late than never, a gold world championship medal. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty happy with the second run actually, so yeah, pretty stoked to be first.
I said to you as soon as you came off the hill, was it better than this morning? And you said to me, well, it wasn't hard, but there must have been something in it this afternoon for you to get that gold medal.
Yeah, we just, we know we can put together really solid slalom runs when we had our group together basically, so we knew we could put one down, and we just went back to our basics and our communication and just made sure that we were in sync, and it just paid off on the day, which is cool.
It certainly did, guys. A huge congratulations, Alan and Mitch. It's back to you.
How will she be later?
Yeah, Mel will be really, really excited for that. She had, I guess, devastation with the slip up in the slalom, having led the first run. So to, I guess, get some redemption here is really great for her. It's been about 4 years since she had a world title, so really good to see her back on top of the podium.
Next up in this World Championship coverage then is the women's standing event. Binja Schmidt of Switzerland will get us underway, a relative newcomer on your screens. Can she cause it a surprise? We had a few of those. Josef Lerner very nearly snatching gold in the men's VI. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. Devastating to miss the last gate. Oh, can't imagine the feelings he's going through right now, sitting it out for the rest of the day. But Binja Schmidt getting a chance to set the first and fastest time in the women's standing. This is the slalom part of the super combined. If you're just joining us, you've just missed the women's VI, where Melissa Perrine has snatched victory away from Menna Fitzpatrick with a stunning slalom run to get her first gold of these World Championships. Binja Schmidt will be dreaming of a medal. What they want most is to complete a run. The other end of the spectrum, it's about getting down and getting good runs under your belt, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Some of these guys are younger and they're here to gain experience in a major championship event. So putting together solid runs is really a big part of that process. 2:10.88
for Schmidt.
Years old.
That sets the target for everyone else. And the great thing for some of these ladies is the volume of people in these that are left in these finals means that one mistake from anybody above you and things change very, very quickly. Ami Hondo, we saw stealing in to get a bronze yesterday. A shocked look on her face. Another good run here, based on her 5th place from this morning. And who knows, but Hondo is she's quite exciting to watch. It's certainly throws herself into a course. Ooh. And sometimes just a little bit too much. So Ami Hondo, who was well inside Binja Schmidt's earlier efforts, has gone down. Take a look back here, Mitch. Let's see what you think to this.
Yeah, unfortunately just a straddle there. I think she got a little bit deep into the delay and was kind of chasing her tail, tried to get back online and came in for a little too quick and took the gate between the tips, and that'll be a DSQ or a DNF in this case.
Not the first to DNF today, not the first to struggle with a gate. We had several struggling with the very final gate. We've got a slight delay here on the start gate. What goes through the athlete's mind here? You've got yourself all set, you're right there, and somebody says, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like a bit of a timing delay here. And this happens, it's a part of the sport, and it's something you've got to deal with and learn through experience. So as I said before, some of the younger athletes here are gaining experience in a major event and hopefully to deal with that in the future.
People like Mel Pemble, learning all the time. Born in the UK, but very much a resident of Canada for the last decade or so. Mel is saying one of those young athletes learning, just 18 still. Mel's impairment, cerebral palsy, so the strength in parts of her body very much different to others. Mel's affected down the right side. You can see the use of a ski pole in the left hand only. She's inside the time, 0.25 so far. An athlete that competed in Pyeongchang. That was her first major event. Here now at a World Championships as well. She had 2 9th place finishes. Oh, and Mel's struggling as well. And well, the tiredness might be kicking in as well. This is the last day of a World Championships, a long one, and another that's just struggling with the course.
Yeah, it is. It's really tough conditions out there. You know, as we said, we had almost 50 centimetres of fresh snow a couple of days ago, and while the organisation is doing a great job to get the course into a really good condition, it's definitely tough out there. It's a war of attrition at times. Definitely seen that in the men's sitting category the last couple of days. Some very, very big spills and some incredible runs. So looks like Fred will be starting off in a second.
This is the lady that has demonstrated much beyond her young years true determination to just go out and do something under a lot of stress in her own personal life, and that's something that athletes have to learn to cope with as you go. It's not anything that can be taught, unlike the skiing side of it. Fredrik Turgeon and family coping with the death of Fred's father in the latter part of 2018, and she's spoken very openly and honestly about skiing for him. She says, he's with me when I ski. I don't think about him when I'm skiing because I'm doing something else, and it stops me from thinking about it. But she says, I know he's there, and I know he's watching, and he'd be delighted with the medal haul that she's already got from her first World Championships, and she's looking good again.
She is. She's really taken a big step in her skiing, especially her slalom the last year or so. So incredible to see her ski so well in Kranjska on a tough slope, injected conditions.
So tough as a single leg skier as well. We see this on numerous courses. Some of them suit, some of them really don't. 8 seconds wiped away. Fredrik Turgeon has guaranteed herself another World Championship medal. I make that 3, and it was almost 4 actually earlier on in the competition as well. So Fred Turgeon adds another medal. Andrea Rothfuss is no one's fool. Whilst Ali Bochet is having a party, Rothfuss will be doing absolutely everything she can, as she has in the past, to try and stop Marie Bochet. A great skier in her own right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think she likes these conditions a little more than the icy slope we had in Kranjska, so perhaps she'll be able to step up and really fight with Fred, who actually really impressed everyone in the second run in Kranjska Gora to take the lead from Andrea.
This is 4-time world champion already. 2 of those she's lost out on. The giant slalom and slalom events were the titles she held out of Tarvisio. Here she's now fighting to pick up a super combined gold. She's got to get a silver if she gets in front of Turgeon. She was ahead at the first intermediate. 2:02.72 is the time that she's looking to get, and she will. 2:01.36. It's all down to Marie Bochet.
Super.
Rothfuss leads.
Good. Bravo, Andrea.
We often ask the question, Mitch, how do you stop Marie Bochet? Often, certainly during Paralympic Games, the reason she doesn't win 5 out of 5 there is it's often a fault of her own, a little mistake. At World Champs, it's not always that way.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a phenomenal record. She's an incredible skier and has the ability to go out and ski at really close to her top level almost every day, which is incredible. And I mean, she's out there racing the course. She's racing herself. So if she can ski close to her ability, then you expect her to be on the top of the podium just about every day.
Already 5.83 seconds. A mistake-free run will see Marie Bochet claim all 5 world titles. It's been done before by Marie Bochet, and she is well on course to do it again. It's mesmerizing, it's fantastic to watch, and this lady shows no signs of slowing up. It's another gold medal for Marie Bochet, 6.66. Usually it's the sign of the devil, it's the sign of a great run on this occasion. 1:54.70, well inside 2 minutes, and she has claimed all of the World Championship golds that were on offer. There's not enough words to say about her, is there?
There isn't. There's no way you can describe it. But another beautiful slalom run from Marie, and I think there's absolutely no signs of those injuries she had a couple of years ago where Andrea started to push her, and she's back to her very best and really almost untouchable in this category.
Yeah, you could sense that out of Tarvisio, she kind of staked a claim for every medal since. And I only want gold. You know, she went to Pyeongchang, there was that mistake, and that allowed the one gold to slip away. Here, and back parts of the World Cup last year as well, you just got that feeling that nobody was anywhere near in that league. And that's frightening, the speed that she's coming compared to the rest.
Yes, indeed. I think, you know, it probably hurt her a little bit to give up a couple of those titles back in Tarvisio when she came in underdone from a small knee injury. So then she went back and trained harder and has showed up and given her very best again and shown us just how good she is.
Women's sitting category coming up. There were 6 in the women's standing. There are only 5 remaining here in the women's sitting. Tori Pendergast will be upset not to be on that list, won't she?
Yeah, definitely. You know, Tori came here with really good speed, but again, it's about showing up on race day and doing that in a big event, and it's tough. You know, Tori's a really, really highly capable sit skier, but unfortunately today wasn't her day, so she's down at the bottom. I'm sure giving Mel a big hug after the World Championship for our team.
Okay, Stephen is down there with our 5-time gold medal winner. He's with Marie Bochet.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alan. Joined by the 5-time world champion from this year, Marie Bochet. The perfect world championships. How on earth do you feel?
I don't believe in it for the moment. I just try to whisper a little bit after this slalom because it was a very long day. But try to don't think to the 5-to-5 because I know that when I think of that, I miss it, like in Paralympics. So I try to do the same mistakes, and I'm happy today with that.
Yeah, because I know you've done 4 quite a few times in the past at the Paralympics World Championships. Was that on your mind that you could do that, and you just try to eliminate all thought and do your best?
I know that I'll be able to do that because I already do in La Molina and in Panorama. I try to remind, yeah, so I already do this 5-to-5, but it's never easy. It's always different. Every year it's a new one with new concurrents, and so every time it's changing, and I never think of that before to start the World Champ.
Well, 5 times world champion in Kranjska, Gora and Slalom. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Alan and Mitch, it's back to you.
Thank you to Stephen Jameson down there with 5-time gold medal winner Marie Bochet. Start off our sit skiers with Anna Benenati, one of 3 Annas in the sit ski. I don't think it's exclusive. You don't have to be called Anna to have a go in the sit ski, but it certainly helps in this start list. Anna Benenati from the States. A fair few retirees, big names as well from women's sit skiing in this last sort of 12 months or so. So there are opportunities for youngsters to come through and start in sit skiing. You have people like Momoka Muraoka already on the scene, so there's opportunity. If you're watching out there and you fancy having a go at this and it's for you, get involved. There's a huge opening at the moment within the VI and within the sit ski divisions as well. Anna Benenati trying to forge her way through the course enough to take a medal. A yelp as she crosses the line, 2:34.38. Do need more athletes to take part of. The next generation has to come, doesn't it?
Certainly, and I mean you see this after every Paralympic cycle in a lot of sports where there's a few retirees, but we'll get back to live action with Annalena Forster, the slalom world champion.
It's also good to take athletes from other sports as well. We've got a few sort of para-biathlon, para-cyclists, para-athletics, para-basketball here, a Paralympic summer bronze medal winner nonetheless in Barbara van Bergen, who we've had. So, you know, there are plenty out there. Annalena Forster knows how to win medals in this sport. She's one of those that is forced to be reckoned with, a 23-year-old, so no real age herself. And already a Paralympic champion in the slalom, World Championship silvers and bronzes so far, no gold. This is a good opportunity to perhaps put that right. Already 20-odd seconds in front of Benenati. Forster and Schaffelhuber had a 1-2 yesterday. This run this morning from Forster put her down in 4th, but her slalom she would prefer rather than the Super G. and she will get across the line in a very good time indeed. 2:05.92. That might rattle Stevens and Muraoka. Schaffelhuber will be ready.
Yeah, that's certainly a very strong run. I think, again, like Andrea, Anna prefers these kind of conditions. It suits her style a little better, and that run might hold up for a while. We'll see how things go.
Let's see it, Laurie.
Laurie Stevens. One of those we lost was Stephanie Victor, who of course competed not only for America but of Switzerland as well in the later stages of her career. She was a great forerunner in the sport. Now, again, as we say, we need the youngsters to come through too. Stevens has plenty of history when it comes to this category as well. 34-year-old from Beverly in Massachusetts. A multiple medalist, including gold. Go back to 2006 Winter Games for those, but she's got world titles as well back in 2013 in the downhill. Nothing in Tarvisio, a 4th place in the Super G. And she's just 100th of a second inside. We did say that was a good run from Annalena Forster. Is it too good for the lady that sat in 3rd position before we got underway? 2:05.92 is what she needs to retain at least bronze, and we've gone past that already, so it really was an impressive time. You see the distance here. I mean, it's 3.2 seconds having led before. That's an exclamation point on how good Forster's run was.
Yeah, it certainly was a strong run from Forster, and I think Laurie won't be overly disappointed with that run. She's definitely made her career in the speed events and a little bit in GS, so always a tough ask for the downhillers to hold on to the slalom run of the combi.
People were surprised by Momoka Muraoka. I saw quite a bit of her in last season's World Cup, and you could sense there was something there, something that this lady could do, and she went off to Pyeongchang and showed us just exactly what she could do, and really pushed hard for medals over there. Here, already picking up a world title as well. She is certainly one, a bit like Ami Hondo. People kind of misjudge and don't expect people to come through, and if you watch them close enough, you can see their ability. 3.78 seconds already inside the time, so she's got to hold that, got to maintain it, and if she wants the gold, she's got to go quicker as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Momoka's a 10-2 athlete, so one of the more impaired sit skiers, so slalom can be tough for her, but she's skiing really well right now, and we'll see if she can hold on to that lead from the speed event.
21, makes her the youngest in the sit ski category at the moment. 2:05.92. She's slowed a little here, quite visibly, and this is going to be interesting. She can't pick up the speed. Annalena Forster will be sat watching. This clock is edging closer. Oh my, 1.32. Muraoka lost a huge amount of time towards the bottom. Once you've lost momentum in a flat section, you're nearly doomed.
Yeah, well, that's it. She made the mistake, unfortunately, right before the flat and was just really unable to get the speed going, and thankfully she had enough of a lead to hang on. Not sure it'll be enough to hold off Anna Schaffelhuber. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, a clean run is all now that really separates Schaffelhuber from gold. The 35-year-old, multiple Paralympic champion already, has had a remarkable career. Some interesting battles with people like Claudia Loos over the times. Now Annalena Forster is here to push her as well. World champion in the slalom and the super combined and the downhill in Tarvisio. She's looking to claim another gold after the Super G victory this morning. Again, the 2 races combined, the Super Combined and the Super G medals were on offer here because of the weather. We shortened these World Champs to 2 days, not 3. Please don't tune in tomorrow expecting another day's racing. It will be very, very empty here in Selanovia. This is tight. Mitch, this is tight.
It is. Interestingly, she's lost a little bit of time up top. We'll see if she can carry her speed across this flat a bit better than Momoka and hold on.
Oh, it's agonising, is it? It's like edging towards the line. 2:04.60. Oh, what a victory this is. Momoka Muraoka, despite looking like she'd lost all of her momentum coming into the flat, Schaffelhuber has clearly made some sort of similar mistake, and it has been too costly on this occasion. Muraoka comes up with another big result.
Unbelievable result for the Japanese girl. She'll be a double world champion now, I believe, this games, as well as some really strong results even as far back as 2015. So really, really strong athlete who's very young and very early in her career path. So exciting things for her in the future of women's sitting.
Yeah, we said, we need the youngsters to come through. The youngest of the lot has taken the title. Mamoka Muraoka, at one point, it looked like she was dropping so much time, she'd fall behind Forster. I tell you what, Annalena Forster, if she thinks she's made a mistake anywhere on that course, oh, blimey. Here comes the replay of Muraoka coming down, and she just started to lose pace at the bottom end. And as we were saying, for sit skiers especially, once you've lost a bit of momentum, it's so hard to get any more.
It is indeed, and she was lucky, she carried her speed through this middle section really well, and I think possibly Shufflehuber tried to hang on. She knew she had a solid lead from the first run and just tried to nurse it in there and didn't quite do enough running onto that bottom flat.
Back at the top of the mountain with that camera shot, you can see Kevin Burton, one of the men's VI, vision impaired as it's known in more recent times. The VI skiers taking to the mountain in a matter of a few moments. Bit of a pat on the back. We've got a small delay here. Mitch, talk to us. What's happening at the top of the mountain? You're getting ready. Who's talking to you, or do you not want people to talk to you? Everybody's different, aren't they?
Yeah, everybody is different. It's a very personal vibe up there. I personally like to watch quite a few athletes, but I had an old teammate who was, very successful, Cameron Ralstabula, who couldn't look at anybody. He had to just sit in his own little zone, and some guys listen to music, some guys don't. It's all very personal. And everyone's just trying to get themselves in the right headspace to physically go out there and produce their best skiing.
Certainly more modern times where sort of phones and headphones without wires have kind of become the thing, and very similar to other sports. A lot of the guys get up there and it's just headphones on, zone out, listen to, I read a lot of these athlete bios and it's like, I've got a playlist for slalom, I've got a playlist for downhill, I've got a playlist for Super G, all very, very different attitudes up the top.
Yeah, exactly. I personally don't listen to music at all because I feel like when I pull it out of my ears, all of a sudden I'm in the real world and it's all very scary. But I know a lot of athletes that really music is a big part of what they do, and it's a big part of getting themselves into the right headspace before their race, as we look back at some highlights from Mamoka's slalom run.
Well, we're going to hopefully hear from Mamoka Muraoka. I've never chatted to her, so I don't know whether this is going to be via a translator with Stephen Jameson, or Stephen Jameson has taken a course in Japanese or not. I'm not sure. We might go and speak. No, in fact, we're going to get back to racing action in a couple of seconds. So Patrick Jensen up the top there. Tell us a little bit about Patrick, something we don't know. He'll love it.
Yeah, Paddy's in his second World Championships here, and he's looking good. I really, impressed with the way his skiing's come along in the last few years. He's had a lot of guiding changes, so Zali's a really good fit. She's a new guide to come into the program. Really strong, able-bodied skier, current Australian national champion in slalom and giant slalom. So really, good to see Paddy O gelling with a new guide and an opportunity to keep progressing his skiing.
How hard is that to change a guide? Because you get used to, and obviously, VI sports, again, you can refer to swimming as well, the people who help the turns. You've got to be used to that person. You've got to trust that person wholeheartedly, haven't you?
Certainly. I imagine it's very difficult, and Pat's had a rough run. He's had 4 or 5 guides. The most recent one had to retire due to concussion injuries, had some other trouble. Paddy O was skiing really well there and just got a little late heading into that combination and wasn't able to make it out in time. But really impressed to see the intent and the attitude at the top of the course there. So
yeah, I've spotted a noticeable difference in Patrick from last season to this, just with the change of guide. As you say, sometimes you just get a better fit. That's all it can be sometimes.
Yeah, exactly, and I think his confidence is really starting to come along. I mean, I know he's had a tough time. He's not super happy with his results per se, but I'm really happy with how his skiing's going, and I think he can take a lot out of that and hopefully progress towards next year.
This is Tadeusz Chris from the Czech Republic, 23-year-old. He's guided by Radim Neveli. He's a little bit erratic at times in his first run. Didn't struggle as much as compatriot Peskova in the women's VI. Really, sometimes you realise the course just isn't for you. The young Czech girl this morning who pulled out of yesterday's competition because of the conditions. Started the Super G and I think a quarter of the way down realised that the pace of it was perhaps a little bit too beyond her skill level as it stands now. These two making their way through. So with Patrick gone, these will set the opening time in the second run. They're neat enough without too much speed here. So 2:02.76 is the combined time. So Thaddeus Chris goes through. Here is a good example, Mitch, of age being but a number, isn't it? This guy keeps getting better. You know, Mergenfer at 53. Are you still going to be going at 53? That's a personal crowd. I'm not going to ask you that. Mergenfer at 53 with his guide, Christoph Meiner, heading down.
He does seem to get better and better every year. Unfortunately, he's lost his pole and his glove out of the start there, so he's going to have to deal with that as best he can.
A little mistake. It's one of those crazy ones, isn't it, where you start looking back, oh, how have I done that? You actually see it quite regular. It's not a small thing.
Yeah, and he's doing really well to deal with it. You know, perhaps that extra 30 years of experience he has on today's crits will hold him well.
Already picked up the score 3 or 4 years ago whilst he's coped with his vision impairment for a long while. He's even written a book about his disabilities, talk about his life going through it. I'm sure the next chapters will be great. Trips to Pyeongchang, victories or at least medals or podium places in World Cups last season as well. And he's across the line. He looked great in Qatar when we first sort of saw him, and he just got better and better. And again, you say there, he's coped with a change of routine straight out the blocks.
Certainly, he's ended up skiing that as both an LW682 and a B2 as he stands. So he's done really well.
People coming from different sports. I'm off to Canada later in the year for the Nordic Championships. This guy's done biathlon and Nordic at Paralympic level, so he's a tough competitor because that's not for the faint-hearted. The distances and the grueling regimes that those guys go through. How hard would that be to turn into speed?
Yeah, it's a massive change, and I think he just saw the light and realised that he could take a chairlift up the hill instead of walking.
Yeah, that's my preferred. That's why I've never done Nordic. That's the reason. Here is Evan Burton and his guide, who is Kurt Grimmelman, another who's had to get used to a different guide. Sort of, it feels like sort of every year. He had a different one in the Paralympics to what he did to the start of the World Cup. So he's now got another one here. But again, it's about finding that right match.
It is indeed, and I think Burton's done really well to deal with some changes, and him and Brandon found a really good sync last year, but unfortunately Brandon had to get on with life and he's had to find a new guide at this point. So yeah, adapting to a new guide, and I think skiing reasonably well, looks like.
Into the final few gates then for Burton as he turns towards the line. 1:59, just inside the 2-minute mark. So Kevin Burton crosses the line. Try and find the results. At the moment, we're looking for 1:58.04, so that puts Burton into second position. And we'll take an opportunity to talk about Joseph Lana. Looked fantastic this morning. He was going to win his first World Championship medal and missed the last gate.
Yeah, indeed. That last gate caught a lot of athletes out this morning. It's some funny terrain in there, and there's quite a bit of a compression that's quite difficult to see, and it just caught him out, and unfortunately it was the wrong side of it. But, you know, I guess as painful as it is, he'll take a lot of confidence out of being able to beat Giacomo Bertagnoli down there, you know, from start to finish, just unfortunately wrong side of that last gate. This is some really good skiing from the young Frenchman.
Yeah, Savard has really impressed these World Championships. Not seen a great deal of him before this, and just 17 as a young Austrian girl in the VI coming through. Who's not even old enough to compete here, who had a very good World Cup in Zagreb. So the future of VI looks very good. There's some good youngsters coming through, and Savard, Bertagnoli being one of those as well, looks very quick. 1:52.17. That's an enormous leap from Mergenfurt, and well, Savard is in the mix here.
It's incredible to think that Giacomo Bertagnoli, born in 1999, is almost a veteran of this category now.
I wonder if Gero Mergenfurt and half of these skiers have anything in common music-wise. I would be mightily surprised. 70s Austrian music versus early 2000s French might have some differences. Now this guy very often catches you out. It's deceptive. If you don't understand the VI sport, you don't really get it. Here is a guy whose goggles are blacked out. He's classified as a B1 skier, which means he has the lowest level, if none, visual acuity in that category. So he's actually guided by the speaker on the back as much as he is the instructions in his ears. He's following sound at speed down a mountain. That sounds bonkers to anybody else who's not tried this or watched it. If you're outside of this sport, this is, you know, it's madness to people, but it's great. This guy is trusting, and again, all of his trust in that guide, and it works for him. He's already a world champion this time around.
It does. It's absolutely nuts. These guys have got the biggest guts out of everyone here by a mile, and it's really good to see a B1 being really competitive, as Marek has been these last sort of year or two. The last one to be really competitive was an Australian Bart Bunting back in 2002. So it takes a long time for an athlete and guide in this category to build that kind of level of performance. However, as you saw in Kranjska, when he's on, he's untouchable.
And the level of respect shown by all the other athletes to him when he won that title. We couldn't get an interview at the time with Kranjska because we couldn't get anywhere near him. It crosses the line here, 154. He's behind Savard. Savard is now one more skier away for potentially taking a World Championship medal at 17 on his World Champ debut. Respect to Kranjska. It's a good run. It's not good enough to wrestle a medal. The weight is on. Thomas Savard will be sat on his hands down in the leader box.
He will be. I know how that feels. I was sitting like that just the other day in Kranjska Gora. So fingers crossed for him and another good run from Haras, and may the best man win.
Miroslav Hraeus. Both the Slovakians to come here, Krakow and Hraeus, they're 50-50 in my opinion. I've been watching this for 2 years, and they're 50-50. They're either absolutely sensational or they make a mistake. There's kind of no middle ground. He's just avoided one there, but that will have cost him some time straight away.
Certainly Miroslav skis in a similar way to myself. It's all attack and not a lot of thoughts involved sometimes, but he's a very athletic human, and he seems to be putting down a decent run here despite a couple of linked recoveries.
Guided down by Maros Hudik. These two, again, very much in sync. They've got plenty of history of winning between them. Slovakia do very well in both of the VI categories. They've got Martin Franci in the men's standing as well. Coming up towards the line then, this is a very good performance from Hraeus, and it's good enough for top spot. 151.03 is inside the time from Savard, so 151 was what Hraeus needed. He's now got two more to come, including his own countryman Jakub Krakow and Branislav Brosman. There they are. Brosman to the right hand side, the guide who will instruct Krakow to potentially a silver. Drama would mean a bronze or worse. A fantastic run. Might get them past Bertagnoli, but he's looked very good in these World Championships as well. And Jakub Krakow find the right line. 28-year-old from Zelina in Slovakia, chasing down his countryman Miroslav Hraeus. Savard currently in second. He will be biting his nails if he hasn't already got through them. Multiple Paralympic and world champion. Hasn't won a world title since 2011. Jakub Krakow, so he's due one. Is this the time? Oh, it's tight.
He's done it.
149.88. It's good from Jakub Krakow, and he knows it.
That's a really strong run from a tremendously experienced athlete, so we'll see how Mr. Bertagnoli, the home hero, can hold up, but he's been really strong all week, and especially in slalom, so it'll be a very exciting finish, and Mr. Savard's seat maybe got a little bit less comfortable just then in third, hanging on.
A mistake here from Bertagnoli. The 19-year-old will give the 17-year-old Frenchman a medal. A good run. We'll see Bertagnoli claim more gold in his home country. Did it in Tarvisio, got one in Kranjska Gora. He's back in Italy again for the second half of these World Championships. Has he got another gold in him? He and Fabrizio Casal, the guide, Me and Mitch were talking about it a little bit earlier on. They're very similar. That if one makes a mistake, the other one tends to make the same mistake. When one follows the line, the other is right there. And that's what you need, isn't it?
Yeah, just a really, really great pairing. A really similar body shape, body style, skiing style, and it just fits. They're beautiful to watch, as you can see. Really strong skiing from the Italian pairing, and despite being just 19 years old, they, seasoned veterans in this sport at this point.
149 is the aim. Late in the day, final few gates to come. 149. He's going to be well inside. What a performance this is. Giacomo Bottagnoli has raced across the line to huge cheers at the bottom. There's plenty of Italians around, not only part of the organising committee, but a few of the locals are here as well. We've had plenty of kids in the audience. 146, 3.5 seconds quicker than the rest. He is going to be around a little while here, isn't he?
He is. It's very impressive for a 19-year-old to be this strong, and him and Fabrizio make a great pairing, and I think they go to school or went to school together and have grown up together, and you can see it. They ski in such a similar style, and I think very big things in their future if they keep skiing the way they are. Can we see? Sorry, we see Jordan Boisin just getting set. Then started the men's standing shortly.
Yeah, so James Whitley up first. I was talking to his parents on the walk down, funnily enough, during the gap. I was having a lot of parents follow the kids around. You had your mum in Kranjska Gora. I saw you having a light bite. I won't tell everybody what you were eating. Is it good to get that sort of support on the tour?
It is, yeah. I mean, being an Australian, I personally have very rarely had family support, and I've always been a bit jealous of the Europeans, so I was really lucky to have my mum and my girlfriend Imogen come out and support me at these World Championships. They went home yesterday morning. Thankfully missed me putting myself in the fence and taking myself off to hospital, and landed in Dubai to the news of my broken wrist. So they've had a good trip and less enjoyable flight. But yeah, it's great to see athletes have their families here. I think there's quite a few from Switzerland with Thomas Phil. James's family is out from Britain. Quite a few of us are Bochet's family, and particularly some of the Austrians who are from nearby. Marcus Salker's had a lot of family and friends around, being a Canton local. So yeah, it's great. It's always great to have that kind of support, and especially it's a little bit more special when it's at a World Championships or a World Cup as opposed to the Paralympics, which are sort of a one-off and quite a lot of families come along.
I saw Andrew Harrow have a bit of a coming together with the final gate earlier on as well. He wasn't on his own. There was a fair few people had trouble with that last gate this morning. Andrew is here. We're going to hear from our last winner. They're down there with Stephen Jameson.
Guys, a huge congratulations. You've done it again here in Slalom. How do you guys feel?
Oh, we've had so 5 medals. What to say? Let's
better than this. So
yes, let's go home with these 5 medals, and yes, it was really, really cool with our fans here. It was an amazing event, and then what to say, it was really amazing.
Guys, congratulations. It was a brilliant performance from you. We can't wait to watch you on the World Cup as well. Number of world champions. It's happened again. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Alan.
So looking back on the start here for James Whitley, we're in the men's standing event now. I was having a chat with his parents, as I was saying. He's got a good heritage from Northern Ireland, as James Whitley's actually a relative of the former Prime Minister of Northern Ireland. There you go. That's something that Mitch Gawley didn't know. It's in his bio. You just have to read it. It does say he's from London in his bio. That's absolute rubbish. He does spend half his time in Northern Ireland, half his time in Eastbourne, but he is very much... his parents wanted the people of Northern Ireland to realise that he is very much one of theirs as well. And the guy from Great Britain, as we'll call him, because that's what it says across the line. And we'll just get the confirmed time in a moment. There's a slight issue with the clock as he comes through the line. So there's always a problem with technology and cold, wet weather. Doesn't exactly agree. You wouldn't put your TV outside, would you? So, it's quite obvious. They have their battles. Martin France of Slovakia coming. He's just unlucky, Martin Francesni. He's got a couple of medals, but he's been fourth on so many occasions. And you start to think, come on, Martin, this is the one.
Yeah, he's been an incredible athlete over a long time, and he's just had some rotten luck with major championships. Fourth, I think, at the 2014 Paralympics, fourth at the recent World Championships. He was fourth in Pyeongchang, and just really strong skier, especially in GS, and he's just had some rough luck at the majors.
Had a fourth in his very first Paralympic Games back in 2006 in the Giant Slalom, fourth in the Giant Slalom in his last Paralympic Games 2018. That just sums that up, but he's got plenty of those. He did get through 2 bronzes in his 2004-2009 World Championship, so he does know what it's like, but he has been desperately striving to get another one of those around his neck ever since that time. But he's inside James Whitley in the opening stages of the slalom.
Yeah, you'll see the course is starting to get a little bit bumpy. James put down a really solid run, particularly considering he hasn't trained a lot this summer. I know he's been at university, but Martin's skiing well. We'll see how he goes around the corner here. It's going to be a tough transition in and out of this rhythm change into the flat.
His parents were telling me he only had 3 weeks preparation for these World Championships, James Whitley, and people's lives, as you said earlier, they can get in the way, but you've got to go and live it as well. 149.48, he's outside Martin França. That goes to show you just how well James Whitley coped with the course. We had the example of the Robertsons, normally the youngster from Great Britain, Scottish youngster, going on the World Cup, but with a different guide because his brother's away at university who normally guides him. So again, there are things that you can do. There are things that are just not avoidable for you. So you just have to kind of get on with it. Jordan Brossan is first of a few French athletes to go. We've had Savard in the men's VI. Brossan going well so far. Got to get inside Martin France's splits. He's inside by 0.16, 1600ths of a second. Is it good enough to get past Whitley?
No, Mum.
Brossan, 25 years of age. Impairment due to a motorcycle accident in 2009. Oh, and he just gets out of shape. And so close to the finish as well.
Yeah, just coming into the bottom of the pitch there, a little bit of a compression, and he got stuck, I think, just outside the line, and those bumps with these snow conditions have been battling with kind of caught hold of him, and making that rhythm change just wasn't possible into the combination there.
It's moments like this that make it harder to explain the mono-ski guys as well, because you've got 2 skis here to try and correct something underneath you that goes away. Those guys on the sit skis, if you lose that one ski, that's you done. And again, for the one-legged skiers as well, it's exactly the same.
Exactly, yeah. And when it gets bumpy and tough, that's when the sit skiers and the LW2s in the standing category really struggle. So hopefully these conditions hold up. You can see, as we said, the organisation and all the coaches out there working really hard to make it as best as possible.
I suppose those, again, who have an impairment that it impacts on muscles down one side as well, it's kind of very similar. If you're leaning to the left and you lose the right, and that's your weaker side, that can cause you trouble. Christoph Bernhard Schneider now inside at the first intermediate. We saw our last athlete, Jordan Brossan, do that, but then veer off the course right about here. So this is the bit you've got to get through. He has.
Yeah, he's made it through that tough combination and carried a decent amount of speed through this corner. So hopefully he's gone. James has put down a really strong time there. It's going to hold up for a little while.
It's certainly showing like that, isn't it? Over goes Schneider, and he's outside of James Whitley as well. So you can't expect really James Whitley to win it from there, but at least he is having the glory of sitting in the leader box a lot longer than he perhaps thought he would. And again, with just 3 weeks training, how much would 6 have done? How much would an entire year maybe sponsored and being able to be out there all the time? You never know. It's a different game for absolutely everybody. Robin Kusch, he's got plenty of experience to call upon. Uncle Didier, of course, a Paralympic medalist, or an Olympic medalist, should I say, in his own right. Must be great to be able to have him on speed dial.
Yeah, not bad having a 5-time Kitzbühel winner on speed dial, and Robin was a silver medalist in this event at the last World Championships, and I'm hoping for his sake he can put down a really solid run. Really good skier, was really close yesterday and made a mistake at the bottom, but would have been right in contention. So love to see Robin have a good run here.
He's still fairly young as well, isn't he? So he's, whilst he's had his struggles at times during the Paralympics as well, he has got World Champions experience. He's now in front, 1.52 seconds. Whitley's time has eventually been beaten. So Robin Kush goes to the top. We've got a little delay out on the course, so we'll try and bring you back to the action as soon as possible. These guys are hardcore, aren't they? The spectators, the people who come and watch time and time and time again.
Yeah, exactly. It's a winter sport, and we're out there in the cold, and you can see Tiziana Nazi there, who's I think the head of the Italian Paralympic Sports Federation, Winter Sports Federation. So she's been around at our races. I remember when I was a 16-year-old kid at my first World Cups in Italy, and she was there, and it's a big supporter of Paralympic winter sport in Italy. So it's great to see her and the rest of the spectators out here supporting the event.
How do we encourage more people to take part in this sport?
It's a tough one because obviously it's not as simple as putting your togs on and jumping in the swimming pool or putting your runners on and going for a run. There's a lot involved, and particularly in Paralympic sport, because if you're a blind athlete you need a guide, and if you're a sitting athlete you need a sit ski. So I mean, realistically I can only speak from my own experience, but in Australia we have a development level organisation called Disabled Winter Sport Australia that tries to really help facilitate those opportunities for people to get involved in the sport. And I think that's kind of true everywhere in the world. Is the big part is that equipment barrier and the mental barrier of going, this is ridiculous. I'm in a wheelchair, or I'm visually impaired, and you want me to throw myself down a mountain at 100 kilometres an hour. So I think what we're doing here, putting it on television and letting everyone see it and see how incredible some of the athletes can be, really helps. And hopefully there's somebody out there watching and listening, and they get the idea that, hey, they can do this one day. And especially in those classes we talked about earlier, that there's opportunities in women's visually impaired, in women's sitting, and even the men's visually impaired. There's opportunities everywhere if you put the time in.
Having it on screen now, that's the key, isn't it? Getting this out to the world. You guys knew all about it, and then maybe people's children then start to learn about it, or a coach comes across somebody who has an impairment. This is much easier, isn't it? This is a broad spectrum of saying to people, look what we do. Forget our impairments. You've seen swimming on TV, you've seen every other sport on TV. This is us. This is what we do. Why not come and join the fun?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think, I think of yesterday, we obviously saw some incredible performances, but at the same time, I went down, broke my wrist, a couple of guys hurt themselves, not quite as much, but there were some spectacular crashes, and as much as that is not what we're selling the sport for, the fact that I can sit here and I don't have to put that in an article to say, look, I hurt my wrist and I can't start the Super Combine. I can just show someone the video of, this is the broadcast footage of what happened, and as painful as it is for me, it's somewhat exciting, and at least it tells a story, doesn't it?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about a former Australian VI skier, and a limited amount of people will know that story because it doesn't exist on tape. It might exist on a few World or Paralympics if we got it recorded. Now, the World Cup, the World Champs, we're on to the Paralympics, back into the World Cup, the World Cup final. It's all down there. You now, as you rightly said, and all of these guys here can turn around in 10, 15, 20, 40 years' time and go, what do you mean you've not heard of me? Look at this. And not just for that, but equally to be able to say to people, look at the developments, the strides we're making for people who have an impairment. You don't stay at home. You don't get pigeonholed into a certain section. You want to ski, go and ski. You want to swim, go and swim. You want to go and lift power weights, go and lift weights. It's wide open now.
Yeah, exactly. And the things that we've been able to do with technology enabling us to broadcast Paralympic sport across the board, not just Alpine, as you say, in swimming, in all kinds of sports. And I'm really, blown away by the fact we've been able to do it in an Alpine environment, because obviously that comes with its own challenges. So that's a really good development for the sport. And as you said, it's great to be able to say, come and do Paralympic skiing. Well, what's that? This is what it is,
Behind the scenes, what people don't see is that the team of cameramen who are buried up to their waist in snow. The snow that's pushed to the side is normally pushed into their position. They're out there day in, day out from sort of 7:30 in the morning until sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. People behind the scenes. I mean, we've had animals chewing cables 2 or 3 of the events in the last year or so, and you never give that a thought from outside of the broadcast. And for me, it's been great to kind of get to know you guys, as I have done para swimmers over time, as I have done para powerlifters over time. So for me, it's great to have been involved in the last couple of years. Here we are, plenty of people behind the scenes who help to run competitions. And this is another smiley youngster Bib number 49 belongs to one Thomas Walsh, who is a real good character, an interesting young man, to say the least. He celebrated his birthday out on the tour. That must be tough, being away from your family and friends on the important dates, but I'm sure when he gets back from his long journeys and he's got his World Cup victories from Zagreb to talk about and experiences here at the World Championships, you don't kind of mind too much. Tommy Walsh heading down, 0.45 up at the early stage. Young man from Vale. Can he wrestle the lead away from the current leader, Robin Kusch? 147.96. Yes, it's going to be 157 the difference for Thomas Walsh. He punches the air. Not every athlete is here to win a medal, is it? You know, there's different benchmarks for each person.
Certainly, and I think we're starting to really get into the medal contenders here. We've got these last 4 or 5 guys, and a few of them are speed skiers, so Thomas has given himself the best chance there. And see another Thomas Phil, a veteran of the sport, Swiss guy who won a silver medal in the slalom the other day, so if he can bring out that kind of slalom form, he should be right in contention here today.
Men's standing. It took a twist this morning when we thought that Theo Gemur had been disqualified. He was flagged down and told to stop, but it was an error, and we allowed Theo to run again. Mentally that would have been tough, but up he went and came up with a winning performance. Thomas Phil, this is from Switzerland, chasing down on Thomas Walsh's 147.39, the Battle of the Toms.
He's had a super strong top section. I think he's going to take the lead there, 1.64 seconds in front, building on his lead of about half a second before the run. So great to see Thomas Phil put himself in a great position heading into the last couple of athletes.
Yeah, Marcus Sanka got a bronze this morning and won silver yesterday. He isn't going to run here in the second part of the Super Combined, so his World Champions is done due to injury. Arthur Bochet, you saw the video at the beginning of the program where he said it's magic. He's certainly enjoying himself. He's another one of those that kind of just has that smile 24 hours a day, isn't he?
He does. Another youngster that's just really skiing at an incredible level, especially in slalom. So while I was very impressed to see Thomas throw down the run he did, I'm expecting something special from Arthur here, and Teo's going to have his work cut out just to try and stay on the podium, I'd say.
3.18, that's already quite special. He does have a little mistake in his locker, does Bochet. Not too often that we've seen it at World Champ level, but certainly in Pyeongchang he would let himself go a little, but here he's chasing down 145, and this is another magic slalom run. Oh, Arthur Bochet, 5 seconds has been wiped away. He's very, very happy. Will he be wearing a gold medal in the next 20 minutes or so? Well, the man that can stop him goes next, Theo Rimmer. See visually his impairment down the right side of his body. Ski pole in just the left hand. Something, if you're born with your impairment, you learn to ski with one ski pole or one leg, it just becomes more natural as you go along, doesn't it?
It does indeed, and I think, Teo's straddled and gone down.
Well, it happens to the best. Theo Rimmer chasing down. He was already just 0.29 ahead, but Rimmer this time is out. Thought he'd gone this morning. Bizarre circumstance, and as Mitch points out, just here, just turns in too quickly.
Yeah, it was a strong top section from Theo. I was interested to see how he was going to hold up for the medals there, because it would have been a tough fight for second and third. Unfortunately, you see Robin Kusch there. He'll be a bit upset. I think he's going to end up in fourth. We'll have Arthur in the lead ahead of Thomas Phil and then Thomas Walsh, the two Thomases in second and third.
Yep. And, well, that's great news for Arthur Bochet. Not good news for either Robin Kusch. And now for Theo Rimmer. So a rather poor couple of minutes for Switzerland. And, well, they have got Thomas Phil should be staying in silver, you would imagine, from here on in. Tommy Walsh, well, we mentioned him missing his birthday at home. Is he going to take a medal back as a present? What a gift that would be. or is there a big performance from some of the guys later on in the list? We will come back to the men's standing in a few moments. In fact, Stephen is down at the finish line. Let's go over to him and see who he's with.
Congratulations, Arthur Bochet. You have done it again, 3-time world champion. How do you feel?
It's again magic. I say every day the same word, but yeah, it's each day a magic day. So yeah, I'm very happy to do this gold medal here in Nevea. My first one gold medal in Nevea. So yeah, I'm really happy.
And how special is it to have your family just next to you as you do it?
Yes, it's a great honor to me for me to have them here with me and to share that with them, because yeah, I love them. Maman, venez, 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 viens papa.
They're all here. They are absolutely loving it. They're giving some praise to the runner, to the fellow who skied out, Theo Gimur, as well. A huge congratulations to Arthur Bochet. Alan, it goes back to you.
Stephen was battling away there trying to get his interview. We mentioned a couple of moments ago, he's one of those 24-hour smilers, is Arthur Bochet, and you kind of forget, he's just 18. There's loads more left in him.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible this early in his career. He's been unbelievably successful the last 2 World Championships and the Paralympics in between, so sky's the limit for Bochet.
So we're back underway then. Theo Gimur out of the competition. Nico Prijancic has come up with some good World Cup performances in the last year or so, but is this an area that he can push for a time that will get him a medal? 7 seconds back on Theo Gimur, but he was quick, so too was Arthur Bochet. That first split time by Gimur will always sit there, but if you don't get past the first split, it means very little. We've had a few of those today.
Really strong slalom skiing from Nico here. He's not traditionally been a slalom skier, but I think he's taken some great strides in his technical skiing the last few years. He's into 8, moved up a couple spots.
9 seconds or so behind the current leader, the man that we expect to take the title now. Again, an example of single leg skiers here within the men's standing category. For those looking from the outside, you have skiers with 2 legs, skiers with 2 arms, skiers with 1 leg, skiers with 1 arm. We have to try and explain the fact at times at the bottom, based on everyone's classification. You know, in sports like swimming, where it's a little bit more defined. You know, you are classified S1 to S13. You only swim against certain categories. He is very different. Braden Luscombe going out, and he's so close to the finish there, Mitch.
Yeah, he just came into that hairpin where that rhythm change is coming into the flat a little bit too straight, and it was tough. But here's Aaron Lindstrom, who's a really strong slalom skier, who's in 3rd place after the first run of our slalom in Kranjska the other day, and
yeah, he
really
picked off a World Cup podium place in Bochet, I think it was, just before Christmas, at the back end of last year, if I remember rightly. And everybody was sort of like, oh, hello. But he hasn't quite managed to replicate that. He's another he does another, I was going to say, that just goes at the course, and that can be costly, though.
Yeah, I think he thinks he straddled there. I wasn't actually 100% sure, to be honest. It might have been a boot top, but yeah, a strong skier who's, again, on the youthful side and possibly has some more experience to gain before he's able to be that constant force, but certainly capable of world-beating runs here and there at the moment.
Yeah, while we were talking about new youngsters being needed in the women's sitting, there's actually a raft of youngsters in all of the categories in the men's division at the moment. You look at Jesper Pedersen and Euro, and we'll come to those in a few moments. Arthur and Theo in this one, and you talk about Aaron there as well, and then obviously Savard, Bertagnoli in the men's division. So we're doing all right there, and it's very strong.
Yeah, we are indeed. And here's one of the old guard, Hiraku Misawa. He's actually been in the sport longer than me. Still going strong. So good to see Hiraku coming into the finish now.
This is his 7th World Championships, Masawa. That's an impressive number.
Yeah, he's certainly been around a long time and had a lot of success. You know, he's been a World Championship medalist and multiple World Cup medalist. Was a phenomenal slalom skier early in his career and then sort of switched his focus to speed for a while and can now be threatening in both from time to time. But again, one of those guys that now it's sort of a bit more hit and miss, but every now and then he really throws one together.
Conor Hogan hasn't gone for the USA, so bib number 49 is out. This is bib 50, also belongs to an American. We had 4 of those this morning in a row. This is Spencer Wood, and like Thomas Walsh, who's had a birthday whilst being away from home. His was the day before that he won 3rd place in the World Cup in Zagreb. So Spencer Wood had a good time at the World Cup, and here he is improving. We had a chat with both Spencer and Thomas together this morning. They were talking about the course and how important it is to listen to the coach's instructions, not just right at the start, but throughout the instructions that keep coming about the course and telling you where the changes are happening. The coaches and people behind the scenes, just as important.
Yeah, well, that's the magic of this sport, right? The course is changing every minute, and so having the trust and the faith in those words from your coaches and being able to sort of decipher that on the fly as things change is a really important part of the piece.
Oh, Takahashi drifting off to the left side of your screen. He's just behind those Swiss coaches there, and that is the end of his run. Kohei Takahashi. This is Davide Bendotti, the Italian single leg skier, out on the course now, bib number 44. 24 years old, made his debut in Tarvisio at a major championships, and would have been good to have got that home championships to kind of help with the nerves, I suppose, no having to really leave your home surroundings too much, and spurred on by Giacomo Bertagnoli as part of the team as well, I'm sure, on that occasion. Bendotti hasn't gone on to the successes that Bertagnoli has, however, he is getting his way through a course that has already claimed a fair few victims, 4 I believe, if not 5 actually. Crossing the line here, raises his arm to signify victory in lots of senses, i.e. the fact that he does make it to the bottom. 157.76. We mentioned earlier that some of these will have a very different outcome to what they want to get from their races here, won't they?
Yeah, everyone will go in with their own goals and their own sort of objectives, and that will vary from people and across the board, and it will vary with the level of experience and amount of time that athletes have been in the sport. So this is Andrew Harrigy from the US now, is an LW1. The only other one of these is Adam Hall, currently competing, who's at home about to have a baby any minute now, he told me, between runs. So that's exciting for him, but Andrew's got some really, really good skills that are, I guess, akin to Adam's, and he's got a really good picture there to learn from of one of the most successful standing skiers of the last 10 years.
I asked a few questions about the whereabouts of our Paralympic champion, and when we were in Kranjska, Gora, there was a lot of scratching of the heads going, I don't know why he's not here. Not on the injured list, he hasn't retired. But there you go, he's obviously away having a baby. Andrew gets across the line, the clock hasn't officially stopped, so we'll try and bring you the official time in a couple of moments. He was the last of the men's standing skiers to come down. We talked about young talent and people who often wear a smile. This young guy here, Jesper Pedersen, he's had a horrific medical issue this year. He had a problem with his heart. Of all the things when you're young, the things you don't think about is having a problem with your heart. We'll come to that in a second. Arthur Bochet didn't have a problem with his. Look at the time difference between him and second place. You think Marie Bochet is good in the women's standing. Arthur Bochet is doing just as good in the men's at the moment. He's taken the title of the Super Combined. He might not have won the Super G, but his Super G time was good enough to put him in the mix. Theo Rimeur going out certainly helps you, but I think his time was super, and it might have been difficult for anybody to get near anyway. The rest of the list there, full of DNFs and DNSs. This is Arthur Bochet. What's your opinions of this young man?
Yeah, well, he's an incredible slalom skier, that's for sure. And actually, his skiing across the board, particularly in speed, has come along the last couple of years. So he will be a force to be reckoned with for a long time, because despite dominating the last 3 last 3 major events, he is only, 18 years old? I think it's time for me to hang it up.
I don't think so. Judging by the way you go, there's still an ability for you to compete. But thinking about the youngsters, do you get to a course and you see somebody you think, well, I've never seen this guy before, and that's somebody with a new impairment that they've accrued, or a youngster coming through at 16, 17, immediately, don't you? You sort of look and think, wow, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been out here a long time, and this is what we do. This is our livelihood. So if you see someone warming up and you know what class they're in and you see the way they ski, obviously you can tell straight away if they're a strong skier and they're going to be a threat. And Arthur was impressive from the first moment I saw him and continues to impress at each championships.
Oh, damn it. Another one
Yeah, well, they
coming
just
at me.
keep coming, don't they? Every time I don't seem to get any younger, and they do.
Welcome to life, young man. Welcome to life. Lee Di Silvestro will get us going in the men's sitting category now. Then the final throws of the World Championships, all in difficulties straight away. He seems to have continued, so obviously hasn't missed out on any of the gates. It's a difficult angle to see in the way the slalom course has been set here this afternoon, but the Italian continues to go, so he obviously thinks he's within the boundaries, so he's carrying on then. This is, for me, I think one of the top two when it comes to the exciting. And the men's standing and the men's sitting really can throw some real outrageous speeds at you, can't it?
Yeah, they can indeed, and will be really interesting to see how this track holds up through the men's sitting today, because obviously we had that lots of snow, as we've talked about a lot in the last week, and Renault's doing a really good job here. Obviously had that issue up top where he got caught up, but he's carried his speed through that rhythm change really well.
Mluv do mikrofonu, ale mám hodinu.
The official time for that run as soon as possible, but through the line goes Rini Silvestro. I suppose there's a merit in thinking that maybe this men's sit skiers should go first, but the course is perhaps at its best because of the speed they go. There's lots of arguments for everything, isn't there?
There is. Back in the day, they did actually go before us in everything except slalom. So it wasn't until 2010 that we changed that rule, and the standing athletes started going in front. But yeah, it is an interesting argument. Ideally, we have a course like we did in Kranjska Gora. If we could control the weather, we'd have that every day. Because nobody, if you started bib 1 or you started bib 80 in Kranjska Gora, you had the exact same chance.
Well, that's part of the game, isn't it? I heard that's exactly one of the phrases that Tommy Walsh mentioned a little bit earlier on. He was talking about the coaches changing their opinions of the course time after time after time. And he said, it's part of the game. The course is the game. You're a player of the game, which is the course.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And sort of as we said with Mary Bochet, is the perfect example of we're out there. Realistically, you can't see your competitors in alpine skiing. So you're out there racing against the course, and it's you making a decision to attack the course in whatever condition it's in as best as you can, and adapting to that. So today is certainly one of those days, and we just saw Murat get hooked up on the same combination that Rene did. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of his run goes.
He's a lively character, Murat Pelliz. Broke his arm in the build-up to Pyeongchang last year. Didn't seem to care one bit, and out he came in Pyeongchang. Maybe wasn't as fit as he probably wanted to be during that event.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a speed skier, and he told me before this run that this was his first run in slalom all year, so we'll see how things go, but I don't think he's alone. There's a few speed skiers out there that are jumping on a slalom ski for the first time in a long time. I know Corey Peters hasn't touched his, probably since the last time he did a super combine. So
we'll come to Corey in a moment. Something he said yesterday that struck a chord with me. Murat Pelli is making his way through, despite being the first slalom run of his season, and across the line he comes. 2 minutes 0.20. It will take him behind Rini Di Silvestro, whose time was 1:55.85 in the end, which wasn't bad at all actually, and Pelli will drop behind. No Corey Peters, so we were going to talk about him. Now we're not. We're going to talk about Niels de Langen. Here's another youngster that on his day, he's in the medals, and we've seen that during these World Championships. I think he's just had an issue here. Niels de Langen appears to have left us here, so we'll try and find what happened to Niels de Langen in a moment. It appears off the screen that Niels has come a cropper, as they say. So while we go back to that, I was going to say, Corey Peters was talking about the fact that he's kind of on the tour on his own. When we talk about it being a lonely world as an athlete sometimes, that really is a lonely world. He's doing his own, he's doing everything kind of himself.
Yeah, Corey's unfortunately the only athlete from New Zealand now that Adam's not here, and I've been in that situation before, being from a small country, and actually we've worked together with New Zealand. We're doing that again this week, which is great, but In the past, we've also completely worked together and shared staff, even, you know, physios and ski technicians. So that's one of those great things about being from the Southern Hemisphere in a predominantly winter sport. You get to team up, and Corey's been a valuable pseudo teammate for me for a long time. But yeah, he's out here on his own and doing a lot of work by himself.
What are you doing skiing from Australia and New Zealand? How does that even work? Here we are then back on track. This is Taiki Mori. We only have a handful of athletes left here at these World Championships. Thank you very much for joining us. You want to get involved at Para Alpine on all of the social media channels. Oh, and Taiki Mori has made a mistake as well. I'll tell you what, really, to Silvestro, not only has he put in a decent time, the rest are falling.
He is indeed. I think we're down to the top 3, so he's one person away from a medal.
Suzuki, Pedersen and Oatway. We've got Kranjska as well, don't forget. Yeah. So we've got 4 more to come. Don't forget the guy in the lead. There we are. It's learning curve here outside of the course. Inside the commentary box, just as difficult. Don't worry about it. Mori goes, which means that Takeshi Suzuki needs to get past Vini Di Silvestro, and then he has to wait and see if the top 3 make mistakes. Great design on the front of Suzuki's monoski, like a chainmail effect, if you like. Andrew Kirkus is a snakeskin effect, and they have a lot of ways of making this better. I know Sam Tate just goes for no cover on the front whatsoever. I think Tori Pendergast is the same, so it's very different. Each person's monoski, a bit like their impairment, very much their own. It's all set to them. The spring of the shock is set to how they want it. You know, so each person very much going down as they want. 6:46 the time difference here, looking good for Suzuki as you would expect. 6:41 the difference, so 1:49.44. It's a competitive time from Takeshi Suzuki.
It certainly is. He's been a really strong slalom skier for a long time, so that'll definitely hold him in good stead. But we know that Jesper and Jeroen can both ski really, really strong slalom. Oatway's more of a speed guy, but I'm sure he'll be doing his best to hold on for a medal from second at the moment.
Super G champion Kurt Oatway from Pyeongchang. Jesper Pedersen had the world's biggest smile when he picked up his Paralympic gold medal. You kind of knew it was coming with Jesper. He'd had a great World Cup. He was podium after podium at World Cup events, and you sort of knew he was on for a special 2018. He's had his medical issues, a heart problem right after Pyeongchang. There were several months where he did very, very little indeed. I don't mean just didn't get out there. I mean he did very little, was housebound for quite a while. His World Cup in Zagreb was pretty much his first competitive piece of action. He's got himself medals at these World Championships. He's perhaps not at full speed to be able to cope with Jeroen Kampschor, but can he get across the line in front of Suzuki? Yes, 1:48.44. 1 second exactly the difference.
Yeah, another strong run from Jesper. He's really stepped up his slalom realistically, considering he's had a bit of a interrupted preparation in the past 6 months.
Now 34-year-old Kurt Oatway. We might have 2 youngsters either side of him in the standings, but Kurt doesn't consider himself to be out of the running at any point.
No, Kurt certainly has a strong history as a ski racer. I know he was a ski racer before his accident, so plenty of experience in this sport, and hopefully that'll hold him in good stead in this slalom run. But it looks like he's bled a lot of time already, and I'd say, without jumping the gun, I think Suzuki might have snuck into the medals.
Yeah, quite wide in certain parts of this course, and the moment you get wide and the moment you get sideways certainly in one of these monoskis, the difficulties come. There is a flatter section. We saw it in the ladies event a little bit earlier on during the last part of this course. If you've lost your momentum, it actually cost a gold medal earlier on, if we're honest speaking. So here, this is about getting to the line for Kurt Oatway as quick as he can. He has lost a lot of time. 5:63. That is a big loss for Kurt Oatway, and it does look, unless Jeroen Kampschor makes a mistake, which he just hasn't at these World Champs yet, it does look like he'll end up without a medal in this one. Now we've had Marie Bochet take 5 from 5 in the women. She was the only person in the women's sections to do so. Jeroen Kampschreur is the only person that can take 5 from 5 in the men's classification, and he's already 1.52 seconds ahead. We saw him put in some great performances in Kranjska Gora, the slalom and the giant slalom. The smile hasn't left him. Jeroen Kampschreur, the youngster from the Netherlands, is making his way down here for potentially a 5 out of 5 performance. Is it 5-star from Jeroen with just a matter of gates to go? He's our actual final athlete of these World Championships, and he does it. What a way to end the World Championships. Jeroen Kampschreur, it's 5 from 5, fists in the air, and he's deserved every one of Masny.
He has indeed. You know, it's one of the most competitive classes we have, and Jeroen to go and do that 5 days in a row, or 5 times in a row, is pretty impressive.
Well, Jeroen Kampschreur will make his way over to the leader box, and actually we were hearing during his run that the final 2 athletes of the competition have scratched, so they are gone. That was the final run of these championships, which means we can hear from our winner in just a matter of moments. Sum up what a World Championship means to an athlete that takes away a gold medal.
Yeah, well, it can change your career and change your life. You know, for me, it took until my 5th world titles in Tarvisio before I actually took one home, and that was a game changer for me. You know, you're world champion forever. And for Jeroen to have done it 3 times in Tarvisio at such a young age, and then to come here and do it 5 times, you know, just shows how mature he is despite his young age.
I remember seeing and being part of that broadcast for your first gold medal in Tarvisio, and things I heard around me were about how you'd earned that, you deserved that, you'd battled your way through your World Championships. Like you're saying with these guys, to get it done in the first one must be such a huge boost for the rest of your career.
Yeah, exactly right. And you know, we've seen that with Jeroen. His first ever World Cup, he took a medal. But let's jump to the interview with him now, I think. Oh yeah, he showed up at his first ever World Cup in Kranjska Gora and took a 3rd place position there. So he's kind of, not to say destined for greatness, but you know, he's been right there and had maturity that is just, you know, you can't teach that. The ability to go out and ski at that level when you're that young in that kind of environment, and that's something I think that you really see with the Dutch guys. They really enjoy what they're doing. They're a great team. The coaching staff, the athletes, they all really enjoy being around each other and out there having fun and skiing fast.
Well, we can hear from our final medal winner, but he does have 5 of them, so let's give him some time. He's down there with Stephen Jameson.
Thank you very much, Jeroen. 5-time world champion at this World Championships. You've done it all, the perfect run. How do you feel?
It wasn't a perfect run. Let's put that up front. I mean, there was one gate, I thought I was out. Could still get in there again and do my best. I'm happy I could get into the rhythm again, because most of the times if you make a big mistake, you make a couple of other big mistakes, but it wasn't the case. Yeah, it was amazing, man. I couldn't imagine having 5 golds, you know.
Beyond your wildest dreams.
Beyond, far beyond. And now the games, eh? So let's watch in 3 years what we can do.
And I know I spoke to you in Kranjska Gora, and you described your Paralympics in Pyeongchang as sore, which I thought was quite strange to a man who was a champion, but it goes to show you knew inside what you could do, and you've come and delivered it here.
Exactly. You know, I knew that I was world champion at 3 disciplines, so I could get 3 medals at least, you know. So, but this is a revenge.
Did it give you that extra motivation for this championships?
Yeah. No, but I'm always motivated. I don't really look at the past, more what's in front of me, and focus on that. Yeah.
Well, what's in front of you can only be pretty exciting now. Congratulations, Jeroen Kampschreur.
Thank you.
What a perfect note to end on. Our 5-time world champion, Alan and Mitch. It's up to you.
Well, thank you very much to Stephen Jameson. Mitch, thank you very much for joining us in commentary. I bid you farewell first. We've had our World Championships. We've had 2 different venues. We've had plenty of people smiling, just like that lady there, all the way through. We got drama. We got surprises. We got new names. We got old guys saying we're not done just yet. What does the future hold? The end of one Paralympic cycle always gives us one thing. it means we have another Paralympics to start looking forward to. As Jeroen Kampschreur said there, I don't look behind, I look in front. In front of us is an exciting next generation of athletes. We had a smattering of 16 and 17-year-olds join us here in Slalom. We have people in their 50s showing us that age really is just a number. If you can stay injury-free, if you can get the luck and the rub of the green, it could be your World Championships next time. From all of us here in Kranjska, Gora and Slalom, from the World Championships, goodbye.